Hello, welcome to another episode of Brettcast Movie and TV Talk. Today we're talking about Avengers Infinity War. I finally got around to seeing this movie, and holy cow. This movie is just it's just amazing. Like 10 out of 10 would recommend. I would see it more times. I'm not going to though. I'm going to wait till it comes out on DVD and all that before I see it again. But it's just amazing. I mean, everything about it is amazing. You know, this is 10 years of these movies and these characters, and this is just amazing that what we're finally getting out of this. um yes, this is going to be spoilers, so if you don't want to know any spoilers because you haven't seen it yet, then don't continue watching this or listening to it. Okay, so yes, this movie is amazing. Everything is amazing about it. Well, mostly everything. Let's start with some good things. So, one of my favorite things is like seeing these personalities clash that we've never got to see before. So, like when the first time Doctor Strange and Tony Stark meet, or when Tony Stark and Doctor Strange meet Peter Quill and the rest of the Guardians and all that. It was just great, if you ask me. Like everything about that was great, you know, given Tony Stark's personality and especially given Stephen Strange's personality. Like they're just amazing together. It's so hard to just pick out aspects that I like because it was all just fantastic. You know, it's well worth the time and it's well worth it to see the movie. Um, you know, all the cast did a fantastic job. Thanos is just fucking badass in this movie. I mean, I know you're not supposed to praise the bad guys, but I mean, come on, it's frickin' Thanos. You know, he's menacing, which is something a bad guy's supposed to be. It's just, it's just wow, you know. I mean, you generally, from the beginning of the movie, you generally fear him. You don't want him. When Bruce Banner saying he's coming, you're just like, oh, please don't. Just don't come. Because this is not going to end well. And I loved those moments when, before something would happen, like in the beginning of the film, everything went quiet. You just have the wind blowing. And then, like, Tony Stark and Stephen Strange and his fellow magic people walked out of the sanctum, and they're just walking down the street. You know, the wind's picking up a little bit, and then they just see that ship flying or floating in the air, which was causing the wind. And you know, the build up to that scene was amazing. Or later in the film at the Battle of Wakanda, when like right before Thanos appears, and again, it's the same as like that beginning of the movie scene. You know, like everything gets quiet, you just have some wind, and then Thanos appears, and it's like a holy fuck moment. Like, you know, it didn't go well for them, did it? And that's one of the things I really have to praise about this movie is that they did not hold back. You know, this movie, it just goes, it goes, 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 goes. You know, there's very few moments of levity in this film, which is great. I actually like that. You know, even like with the thing with Vision and Scarlet Witch when they're in Scotland, you're like, oh, this is a nice break from action, and then boom, Vision gets stabbed out of nowhere. It's like, yes, just keep going. And yeah, it's just go, 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 action, action, action. And although maybe Thanos' plan doesn't make the most sense in a bad guy's kind of logic, it's just like, hmm, it's just like, oh, I just want to kill half the people because resources and all that, and somebody has to balance the universe. And yeah, it genuinely doesn't make the most sense, but I don't think it matters. Um, I mean, he carried out his plan, and I am glad they didn't shy away from the fact that in this movie, Thanos wins. You see Thanos win. And it is breathtaking when you get to see the bad guy actually win. Now, yes, this is a part one, but just, okay, he actually wins. And the other thing, too, is that Disney didn't shy away from the body count. Disney and Marvel, they knew people are going to die in this movie, and they do. I mean, Loki dies right in the beginning. That scene with Thanos throwing Gamora off to get the Soul Stone, she dies. It's like, excuse me? Did you just do that? I mean, and all the special effects things were great, you know. And some of the scenes before he gets all of the Infinity Stones, like my favorite was with the Guardians fighting him on Nowhere. When Thanos used the one stone and like made Drax fall into a bunch of stone pieces and made Mantis. I don't remember exactly what happened to her in that moment, but made that happen. And it's just like really great. I actually thought in that moment that he actually killed Drax, but Drax came back once the Thanos left. And the children of Thanos, those guys, those were awesome. I mean, you do not want to fight them. That magic guy, his fight with Strange was fantastic, and it was just awesome. There's a few, I would call them very, 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 very minor nitpick things, I would say, like, uh, why is it that when Strange met Stark and told him, if he had to pick between Stark's life, Peter's life, and the uh, the stone, he said he would pick the stone, but then when it came down to Thanos being there, he actually just gives Thanos the stone. And I know there's a reason with his realities that he looked at, but I don't know, maybe some elaboration would have helped. And with that, the moment when Scarlet Witch takes the stone or takes and like basically kills Vision, blowing up the stone and all that, I kind of just am like, don't they know he could just reverse time and take the stone from Vision anyway? I mean, he has the time stone from Doctor Strange. So, there was that. What else did I like though? Tony's armor was great. That nanotech Iron Man suit thing. I don't know if that's what their version of Bleeding Edge is, but that stuff was cool. I love that. Um, yeah, and finally getting to see the Iron Spider suit was really neat too. Thor had a good part. I liked him. I liked his interactions with Guardians and all that, and him in the Battle of Wakanda was crazy. I mean, he just powered, knowing no bounds of power there. And his that final moment he had in front of Thanos when he drives his axe in there, and then is telling Thanos about or Thanos is like telling him about how much he lost, people wise, and all that, and then and all right, we just have to do it. End of the film. We're talking about the end of the film right now. Oh my god, that ending of the film, no one could have saw that coming. No one. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and speculate, how many heroes died. I don't really care about the numbers in it. It's just like, I will say most of them didn't feel very much of any kind of meaningfulness to their deaths. I mean, Peter was the only one who showed any kind of emotion when he went up to Tony and was like, I don't want to die. Begging for his life basically, and then poofed. You know, I want to know what happened to the gauntlet, because once Thanos did it, and had his little vision, and we came back, and the gauntlet was all like burnt up and black looking, and it was very interesting. so so yeah, there's more I could talk about, but I feel like everyone else on the internet already has covered everything, so I'm not going to go on for much longer here. So, as always, thanks for listening, and if you want to get in on the conversation, leave a comment below. See y'all's later.